This is Big Dan here. I got with me Gaming with Drako and the Dragon, and today we're going to be doing an in-depth dive of the pilot music video, the first track on my first EP. I'm going to let Gavin, aka the Dragon, tell you a little bit about where we left off in the last video.
The last video, the last episode of the series was called Trailer. It was by myself and Big Dan, and the very end of that video we teased pilot. So very I don't know what word I would use here, but very absurdly, my one character, Slim Shitty, farts into a hose that makes a trailer explode, and Dan was on the said trailer, and he got sent flying. So yeah, just one more quick thing about before we start. This thumbnail right here for the pilot, we actually put the fading black box around it to reference synopsis. That whole video was shot with kind of like this boxy type of filter over it. So that's just a reference to that because it's the first of this officially season 1. Synopsis Saga was season 0. This pilot is season 1. And we are not in the season 1 combination, the whole season by itself. You'll see why soon. Or maybe by the time this airs, you will already know why. But without further ado, Dan, let's get into it.
I would like to state this was all shot public area, public trail.
Yep.
No trespassing was done. Nothing illegal. Although it may appear that way. Which is that it's not a very popular trail.
Right.
I'm a law-abiding citizen.
Right. Also, all of this was shot by Dan, and most of the editing was also Dan. I did a little bit of editing, but he did most of it. And all the beats you hear on this, all Dan. All the lyrics that were written, that was Dan saying the lyrics, all Dan. He sent it over to me. I had some, maybe structural critiques or something that maybe we did a few things on, and then I mixed and mastered it, and we made this a hell of a project, if I do say so myself. But yeah, let's get into it.
Right off the bat, see that right there?
Yes.
I would also like to state that me crashing into the wall, I actually cut my elbow when I landed, because I did that I did that more times than I counted to get the shot just right. Mm-hmm. and I ended up using one of the first takes, and it made me sad, but yeah.
Well, it looks great. It looks really good.
I also had to convince Gavin to add convince the Dragon to add this skit at the beginning of the song.
Right. I wasn't sure.
I mean, added it first.
Yeah, I was just concerned. I mean, I liked when he was like flying.
So
I liked it, but it was a long skit. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's continue on. I'm glad we kept it though. I think it's great.
Particularly the part where I shoved the beam out of the way.
Right. It was like there's like another like 10 seconds on this.
I wanted to have that on there because it looked cool. Because I pushed the beam so hard that it actually splintered into a bunch of pieces, and I thought it looked cool.
Right.
And I insisted upon having that.
That was the part that I was really concerned about because it was so long. But in editing, we were able to figure out how to make it kind of overlay and made it a lot shorter, and it worked. And it looks cool. I agree. But here we go. And I do want to say too, the Dragons and Records logo, that's something I put, or not logo, but wording. That was, obviously post-production, and I thought it was cool if he stepped down on it. Just a cool kind of transitional thing.
Listen up, people, it's B.I.G. You probably haven't heard of me since like 23, cause I've been preoccupied, as you can see from these sick bars over my own fucking dope ass beats. And maybe some of you I messaged privately recently, talking about my new release. I even called up the Dragon and said, listen, G, I gotta somehow come up with my first CD. So that brings us to now, when I'm relentlessly writing rhymes in the studio endlessly. I'm about to recreate the fucking industry and pull up in a fucking Buick Century. So the first, the whole first verse kind of has the same rhyme scheme.
Right.
Because I wanted to have a consistent rhyme scheme. It also discusses that you haven't heard of me since like 2023. That's when I like really first started getting into rap music.
Right.
And, it also references pulling up in a Buick Century, and it's another reference to one of my old cars that I referenced when I very first started rapping, and an unreleased work, or now unreleased work.
Right. Yeah. Dan and I started, making music in high school, 23, and it's cool to see everything, all that hard work and trial and error and all that just come to this. Like, it's really cool how far everyone's come. But oh, you want to say anything about the landscape? Because this is cool. I love this shot. It's really cool.
I was coming down the mountain in the dark, and I looked out over the landscape, and I thought, this is badass. And since I don't have any lyrics during the hook, because I couldn't think of any, and because the guitar sounds badass anyway, I'm like, let me just put the landscape over the hook, just to show how badass this is.
Yeah, I definitely like how it looks. Any thoughts on the video so far, Drake?
I mean, obviously, I have never really left where we are, and so seeing like this landscape is like really interesting because
Right.
I've never I've never seen like this kind of rocky terrain before, really,
Right.
in real life.
Yeah, man, definitely. It's
It
always
also
cool to see.
shows that, like, I'm not gangsta, I'm not hood, I'm separated from all the city and all that. I'm in my own little world.
You're right. We're all very, very.
We're all mad white.
Yeah, we're all. Music is just it's a place where everybody comes from something somewhere different, and I think that should be celebrated. But yeah, guys.
Yo, I changed the album in like the last minute. Decided nowadays that shit's too offensive. Here it goes, everybody's getting defensive because I said one thing and I just did suicide on my career before it even started. Are you fucking serious, bitch? Are you retarded? My bad.
Want to talk about that line?
So, the original version of this song, the original lyrics, were a lot less sensitive,
Yeah.
even borderline offensive, right? Nothing like super like that I shouldn't say, but like I shouldn't say, right? So I did end up changing. He even removed a whole track because
Yeah.
it was probably too offensive, and replaced it with a skit, as you'll see later on.
Right.
And this is kind of like, damn, this sucks. Why do I gotta compromise my creativity just for society? And this is pretty much what the second verse is saying.
Right.
And then it makes a reference to D12, like not actually calling anyone the R word,
Right.
allegedly.
Right. I think it's important to also say I'm not the one to be like, hey, maybe we just do this. We just kind of everybody involved. Well, I guess just me and him. I was like,
Society.
hey, yeah, like this the society might not be ready for this.
Yeah.
And it was pretty much mostly Dan's decision. But yeah.
sad. I've been listening to D12's bars and sorta got carried away like in front of a car that just ran me slap over. Crazy chicken tar pits, I think I have the evidence. See the image, enlarge it. Is that a damn sign in the back of your car, bitch? No, it's just an oddly shaped piece of garbage.
So that line there at the end, it's a reference to like things in your car that shouldn't be in your car. Illicit substances, stolen property,
Yep.
bodies, as you'll see later on in the EP. And yeah, I just thought I would add that because that's also not societally acceptable.
Right.
Have bodies in the back of your car.
At the end of the day, I'm just another motherfucker. My pilot ain't causing riots, it's not a blockbuster. I dare you to come up with all the courage you can muster. Get flattened like a pancake by a...
Good. I remember that.
All about that.
So the car and the squish in the background, that was me. I heard the lyric and I'm like, oh man. So I went on Pixabay, found a couple cool samples to kind of make it sound like someone was getting hit by a car and squish. You know, you got an imagination, you can know. But yeah, that's definitely one of my favorite parts of the whole EP in my opinion.
Also like to clarify, all the stumbling and falling off the roof, it was coordinated. It was done safely.
Yes.
All deliberate, very deliberate.
Right.
One was in danger.
Yep.
Allegedly.
Yep.
a rusty car bumper. Go home and cry like a bitch to your mother, and then come back if you dumb punks want another taste of the smoke. Don't suffocate, start to suffer. Even though it would be funny, disappearing is the other and more convenient method of be clearing out the clutter. Little bitch made fuckheads look at Big Dan and shudder. On the one hand, I could leave you alone, but on the other, oh wait, I'ma kill you, you weird fugly bother.
Something I want to say. Go ahead.
Is a reference to like the I mean, I forget the specific song. It was like, "We'll kill you."
Oh yeah,
Rap
that
God,
was
Rap God.
Yeah.
That's also one of the lyrics I changed because probably society's not ready for it.
Yeah.
And just the whole last verse. It's following up on the first and second. Or the first verse talks about like how I got started. Second verse talks about how I'm redacting my stuff to be more acceptable to society. And the third verse just talks about how I generally don't give a fuck, and I'll hit you with a car, but I'm not gonna say anything that's offensive. I'll just do it.
Yeah. It's an interesting take for sure. Something I want to say too is throughout this whole project, I really like the drums. Like they're very just punchy. They cut through really nicely. Very just wonderfully structured and coordinated. It's put, but yeah.
This beat in particular, everything except the guitar I threw together in probably 15 minutes.
Yep.
It's one of those beats.
Yeah, and it's great. Nice.
So, funny story about the end of that video. I jumped, actually landed on my ankle and fucked it up. That's also
Safely.
part of the reason why I was up there long enough to get a shot of the lights.
Yep.
Because I fucked up my ankle and I just like deal with it and walk down. I was fine. It was fine, but
Yeah.
it did hurt a little bit for a little bit.
Yeah. I thought it was cool when you jumped off, I decided to fade it into black once after you sent me everything. I thought that was cool too. But yeah, this one's a short video. I mean, I guess that makes sense. You got shorter songs. It's not as lyrically in depth as some of my stuff, but I mean, in terms of making overall songs, you're just so good at it. For sure. But Yeah, we're clocking in at about 15 minutes right now, so like half the time of the other ones. But is there anything else
Short
we
and
want to
sweet.
say? No? Drake, any thoughts?
Um,
Thank you
I,
for watching.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I can tell that this is your first, like, almost a first time back. I forget how everything played out. I heard some of these songs before when I was visiting,
Right,
and
right.
I forget. I know like a lot of these songs are done ahead of time, so I forget the order of things. But like, was this song recorded before trailer? I think, or
Yes,
Yes,
it
I think
was.
most of this,
Most of it, yeah,
yeah, I
was
think
done before trailer,
everything except
I
the
can,
skit was before trailer, I think.
and that's why
yeah, I
trailer
can,
has such good foreshadowing.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So I can tell that like just like the dragons like synopsis and like I can tell that it's like your first like I don't know which if you did anything before like any publications before
But like first
uh
video for like public viewing, you mean? Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So it's neat to tell I'm excited to see um like where you are like
Right.
like with more like how do you say it like
How it progresses throughout.
Yeah.
yeah
Yeah, I think this one was important because it sets the tone and the setting, and it doesn't do much more than that, but it does a good job at doing that. That's all you need, especially with all the other tomfoolery misadventures you get on this little EP. But
tomfoolery.
yeah, thank you everybody for tuning into this episode of breaking down Big Dan's pilot. Yeah, definitely stay tuned for more breakdowns in this series. We're going to go through the whole season of Pilot. And yeah, thank you all for watching. This is brought to you by Dragon's Den Records, featuring myself, the Dragon, Big Dan or Crackadan, and Gaming with Drako. Thank you, everybody, for the support. Peace.